What is going on, everybody? I'm Adam Cross, your host of the River Run podcast. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Man, welcome. How is everyone tonight? How has your summer been going? How's the fishing been going? It's been hot in Ontario. I'm not gonna lie. I was out on the river for like 3 days and I worked my butt off. I paddled, and I'll be honest with you. I was the only one out on the river. I don't know if that was a sign that I shouldn't have been out on the river, but no, it was pretty chocolatey, and yeah, it was nice to get out there. It was hot. Like I felt like for every three casts, I was like just drenched in sweat. Yeah, but in the end, I got into some fish, and they weren't. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really catching them the way I wanted to catch them. I was really hoping to, power fish them, but in the end, there was the Dewey Baits Ned Craw, which, man, like I'll be honest with you, I fished it earlier in June. No, sorry, earlier in July, and I brought it out again. The Hallgramite by Nico Baits, man, that thing right there too. Awesome. Like another awesome bait. And yeah, I was really just keeping things on bottom, and I found them, and it was man, it was fun. When it's this hot, I don't. I'll be honest, I don't have the success that I wish I have, and maybe that's just more time on the river, more confidence, and yeah, I don't know. It can I can understand when they say that dog days of summer are tough, and I feel like maybe I'm starting to work towards something, but yeah, no, it was fun, and like the log jams that where I was catching them, it was like there was a couple of times where I won't lie, like I got my bait all jammed up in the log jam, but no, it was fun. And it was great to get out there. Don't forget, if you are going to be out on the water, be smart about it. Like pack, be prepared, stay hydrated. Like honestly, like don't wait till you get dehydrated to try and get hydrated, because when you get dehydrated and you got to make your way back up to where you launched, you're going to be, if you were flowing with the current or you're going against the current, however which way you're going, cool, but do it smart when you're on the river in the summertime. Make sure you got all the necessities, to keep yourself safe out there. Don't let yourself get dehydrated, the heat exhaustion, all that. Like it's you're the only one out there, and that's the other scary thing. Don't let that happen. So be a smart river run goer, fisher, kayak angler, even if you're hitting the banks, like don't bring the necessities. Things don't always, a simple trip may not always be the most simple trip, when you add certain variables and hoops that you need to jump through. Another thing I wanted to talk about was I was at one launch, and I won't lie, I'm not gonna name the launch, but and I was pretty upset. Um, you know, I don't get it. Like, why is it that we feel the need to not put the garbage where the garbage belongs? Like, why? Like, why does a pop can? Why do you feel the need to throw it in the river? Why do you feel the need that your Gatorade bottle belongs on the shore, on the launch? I stumbled upon this like pile of garbage, which in the end was a fire pit, and it was probably about, I don't know, a couple feet from the water. And obviously, hey, like, I'm not gonna. I don't know if it was other anglers or whatnot, but I'm sure if you're having a fire that close to the river, you're probably fishing at the same time because you left some eagle claw hooks, and it looks like you were throwing a spinner bait too, and some other stuff. But you know what? It really frustrated me because, like, there's no reason for this. Like, we can all do our part. Like, it's not hard. Like, when you go out on the water and you want to be prepared, um, you know, do Mother Nature a favor. A black garbage bag fits in any crate, fits in any pocket that you have. A little Ziploc bag for your fishing line is another great thing. Take your fishing line. If it all is jammed up, put it in there. Because if you throw it in your pocket or in your kayak, I don't know if you ever noticed, but sometimes, you know, it just ends up in the water. It's these things. I'm not saying that this is, you know, people are like, oh, thrown in right in the water. No, but we can all do our part. And so I decided to turn a negative into a positive, and I picked up an entire construction size garbage bag of garbage after I had spent solid 7 hours on the river, and I was hot, and I did go for a quick dip, but I cleaned up and I packed it all up and I brought it up to the garbage and I put it in the garbage. And that big black construction bag was full of all sorts of stuff. You know, if you, just a quick tip, but if you are going to be, you know, picking up trash at your local launches or on the river, whatever, you know, also be mindful of what you're picking up. I always put on a pair of latex gloves. Just be, you know, just be mindful of, you know, not everything out there is always recreational safe. But yeah, no. So I challenge each and every one of my listeners on the River Run podcast. The next time you go out and you do the River Run cleanup challenge, take a picture, tag the River Run podcast in it. You can tag it through their Facebook page, and you can tag us on Instagram, the River Run podcast. Tag us in it. I want to see it all. You know, if you can shoot me a video, or if you want to tag a post, it's cool. Tag the River Run podcast. Use the hashtag River Run Cleanup. The second hashtag, the River Run podcast. Yeah, no, do it. You know, I can't wait to see it because I know there's so many good people out there who are doing this. So take the time. You can be the change the world needs. I can guarantee it. All right, let's get on to something else here. I want to talk about the 13 Fishing Jabberjaw. So I picked up a couple of these over the wintertime. A friend of mine in, I want to say Kitchener, Thomas Plechny, him and I did a podcast with our friends down on the Catch podcast, Brad Hicks and Matt Siders, and we talked about the 13 Fishing Jabberjaw. Now, this thing is a really cool crankbait because the bill moves. And I've been taking these out on the river with me. Oh man, like every chance I get, and I throw them. And I have to say, as my favorite new bait, it's not new by any means, but my favorite new bait to throw on the river. I like throwing cranks and stuff like that too, but the Jabberjaw 60, this thing is really cool. Its bill moves, like it's neat. I've never seen anything before like it, but yeah, no, it's you're looking at a length of, this one is 2 3/8 with a weight of 9/16 ounce. Yeah, they're neat baits. It's like it dives like 2 to 4. It's got a really cool vibration, and yeah, you know what? If you get a chance, check them out. That's the 13 Fishing Jabberjaw. It's like my new favorite reaction bait, I guess you could say, to throw. I guess you could kind of say it's a little bit mixed in with the crankbait, but yeah, no. Another thing is the Dark Horse Tackle, guys. I just wanted to say the shirt you did with Live Rough, Die Tough. I like it. I did it. Dark Horse Tackle. I just wanted to say sweet shirts. And if you haven't had the chance to check out fellow guy, live rough, die tough. He's got some really cool artwork stuff that he does. I like it. So yeah, no, shout out to you guys. You guys are rocking it. It's awesome. Don't forget Dubro Fishing. The fine folks over at Dubro Fishing are always here to help out. You know where to find Dubro Fishing, and that's at dubrofishing.com. This is got to be a sweet little discount right here. I gotta say, like, you know, you save 10% at checkout. Dubro Fishing has a lot of cool products, so don't hesitate to go check it out. But yeah, no, my guest this evening, you may have seen him on multiple platforms. He is a river fisherman. He does a fair bit of rigging and video work with Yak Attack. So you'd see him on the Yak Attack website and all the socials. So yeah, I'd like to bring on my guest, Wade Clements, to the River Run studio. Wade, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, Adam. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Hey, whoa, I'm very happy to have you on, dude. Like, I have to say, you know, this is really cool because, well, for one, it's always great to have another river angler on here because it's fun talking about river fishing. I like to see, you know, all the unique rivers that people fish in their own bodies, hometowns and whatnot. But I have to say, it's also cool because you're the guy that I see when I, you know, look at Yak Attack online. I'm sure a lot of these listeners will recognize the voice or recognize the gentleman sitting in front of the camera. But for those who might not know you, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. So again, I'm Wade Clements. I'm the marketing coordinator at Yak Attack. Do a lot of different things there in that building when it comes to, you know, just getting products off the ground and out the door. But I would say the most fun that I get to have at work is doing all of our social media. You know, just a lucky guy. I'm you know, a local guy to Farmville. Been there my whole life, and kayak fishing was the hobby. You know, the escape from the world. Yak Attack moved back into a much bigger warehouse there, and I've been with them 3.5 years since.
So, you know, you just spoke about river fishing here. Like, you know, you've spoken about kayak. You know, like, I gotta ask, like what was something when you got into kayak fishing? Because you know, through on your social media, you can see you're no stranger to the rivers. You know, you shows you know, out there on this, you know, different kayaks all rigged up. You know, you're catching some amazing fish, but it also shows you paddling some impressive whitewater. So I just what was it that got you into kayak fishing? Like,
well, I mean, for years and years, you know, you tube the rivers on, you know, birthday floats and the fun floats. And I mean, just always loved the river. When I started dating my wife over 12 years, our anniversary is coming up here, so it'll be 12 years married soon. But
congratulations.
Her parents have a place in this little small town of Freeze, Virginia. Some river guys might know that place. Yeah, we went up there, and the very first year we rented a canoe and, you know, kind of did the family float down the river. The next year I came back in a borrowed kayak from a buddy. And immediately I was like, I need to bring my fishing rods. Like, this is, you know, a way to pass the time. I mean, for me, it's the adventure. I like being out there, but catching fish is, you know, just makes it twice as good.
I have to say, I like, you used one of my favorite words, and one of my favorite pastimes is adventure. Adventure. When I look at myself, like, I am an adventure paddler. Like, I love exploration. I love checking out new bodies of water. I like, you know, doing different floats, different runs, lakes too, you know. But Man, I don't know. Like for me, it's just like this whole. I don't know. It's like maybe people who climb mountains would agree to the same thing. It's
Oh
that
yeah.
that sense of that uncharted land, or you paddling that new body of water. It's you're the only. You could be the only person out there for miles. And oh man, like that's just what thrills me. Like it's funny. Like I'll be honest with you, I can go out there and I can paddle for hours, and there's been times where like I've said the scenery is completely made up for the lack of fish that we're biting that day, or the little bumps down the river it goes, that in the end the adventure of it all is just what I'm like so grateful for, and I hope that's something that stays with me forever. I hope I never lose that sense of it's oh man, it's great. So like you what for me, like I remember when I got into it, that first time being out on the water was like, wow, like it's an experience to be had, and then you end up catching that bug, and it
Oh
just
yeah.
really begins to get further and further, and next thing you know, you got rod setups now. You're all set up with Yak Attack products, and your kayak. You may even be trying new bodies of water, and you got to say, as a time to be out on the water, uh, in Virginia, is it something, the rivers that you fish? What kind of fish do you predominantly catch?
It's mostly smallmouth bass. I mean, most all rivers, there's a variety of species, but I mean, predominantly catch smallmouth bass, spotted bass. But I mean, there's everything in there. I mean, the Stanton River. I've had some of my best river floats over the past couple of years out on the Stanton River, and I mean, it's loaded with hybrid striped bass. I caught my first bowfin in there by accident on top water
No way.
last year. Oh, it was nuts, man. It broke a hook. I mean, those things are wild. But it's just you never know sometimes in the river.
I absolutely love chasing smallmouth on the river. It is river
Yep.
smallmouth is, for me, is I love it.
It's the drug.
It really is, like, and I've fished other species, and pound for pound, I have to say, like, it is, to me, it's the best fight. Like, summertime fishing for river smallmouth, I won't lie, like it can be a hit or miss, because on those dog days of summer, it can be a tough grind out there.
I'll tell you, that's some of the best time for me. I enjoy being out there. I've had some of my best days. I mean, a hot summer day. I know a lot of guys don't like to be out there during middle of the day, but as it moves into the afternoon and you just push that topwater bite. I mean, I took me a long time to get on it, but forcing that whopper plopper right there in front of their face, and I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, just the violent blow ups. I mean, even the small fish, just lose their mind when you hook up. It's exciting the whole way through.
It's funny. When I was on the river last week, I started my day, as I always like to start, as loud as I can be on the river. I like to, and usually it's a whopper plopper, or the Berkeley Chopo, or even like a buzz bait. But I was throwing this big Chopo. I want to say it was like it. I think it's a 3/4 ounce one, and I was just boom, and I would just start burning it. And I was impressed by the amount of small fish that were just like going crazy for it.
Oh yeah.
And like they would literally take it sideways, and like they would just blow up out of the water, take it sideways, and then obviously get in between those treble hooks. And but for even the bigger ones that grab them, like, and spots too, where I was kind of like, it would literally turn, a couple of times, and then all of a sudden it was just like this thing, you could tell it was like, whoa, it was going for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun bite, I have to say. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's now like when you get into that whole aspect of, summertime river fishing, as I always like to have a couple. As much as I'm like all about power fishing, I love finesse too. Like I absolutely love finesse. And sometimes I think maybe I need to actually put that down and I should maybe focus more on a power fishing. But I found the last time I was out that when I on certain, like especially at the log jams and whatnot, like just casting in this little 1/8, you know, uh, Ned craw and just letting it go down, or even a Nico Bates Hallgermite on a EWG, because I noticed like I was kind of getting stuck into the wood. Man, it just like let that thing sink all the way to the bottom and then just slowly begin to hop it. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoop. I was, oh,
Yeah, I mean that's really how I started catching, really catching smallmouth and doing it successfully. But they were, smaller fish usually. But throwing the net, the finesse for me, it was a 2 3/4 inch tube.
The tube
green
is
pumpkin, and
yeah.
I mean that was a go-to for a long time. It's when you're catching fish on it, it's tough to put that down and commit to the bigger baits for the bigger fish, but it really does pay off.
If the tube, I love throwing the tube. Like I'll throw the tube for, oh man. And the one way that I like to throw the tube, especially in the summertime, is like doing a text pose tube. So taking a tube hook and doing more of an Texas style rig to it, and just literally casting it, let it sinking down, and just kind of like pulling it through the grass, pulling it through along the weeds, getting it into the log jams. And I would say my favorite color has to be the I think it's purple gold black, or goby, I believe it's called. And it's got like a little bit green pumpkin in it. And I don't know what it is, this small little tube. And man, like they just, or even like it's like a gray with red fleck in it. And man, like I don't know what it is, but they those two colors seem to be the ones that produce. But yeah, it's funny you say that when you talk about, when you get to that point where you're out there and it's like, well, I know how I could catch them. I could just, I'll just stick to the finesse, or I'll just stick to what, and then this year I really put it in my head that like, you know what, we're gonna try and work on some other baits, because there's like so many other baits that like I'm just like, I love fishing a chatterbait for sure. Like that's always something I'll have tied on, but fishing like bigger buzz baits, the bigger choppos and whopper ploppers and stuff like that, and just committing to it, not after a while, just keep going, keep it tied on. And I've even gotten to the point where it's, I've said like, okay, what you have in front of you, that's what we're going to run today. And yeah, it can be a little frustrating at times, but I hope in the end it'll all come together out there on the river at some point. I'm sure as
days. I mean, it's
yeah, no, it's and with fall, how, like, so I wanted to ask you, with that being said, on your rivers, what's like your favorite river in like in Virginia? Which one's your favorite, or do you have multiples? You know what I mean?
Well, there are a couple of spots that I really, really do enjoy, but where I got my start up there in Freeze, the popular spot for a lot of people up there is in front of the dam. But just down past the boat shop down there's a set of rapids. Not a lot of people travel it. I was there on the 4th of July, up running the river, and I've never seen so many people as I saw that year, up on the popular end of the river. But when I got down into those shoals, I was the only person in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you just, you park on some rocks and, fish some holes below, below the rapids. And I mean, it thought eventually somebody would come by, but nobody ever did. I mean, the only thing I saw out there was a deer, I mean, birds,
wow.
All the wildlife, but not another soul for miles. So that's got to be one of my. I mean, I'll take it over anywhere else in the world if I have the chance.
Yeah, man, that sounds like a really special place.
Well, you see it in a bunch of those Yak Attack videos. Like, I mean, a lot of the river runs where you see us, running through the rapids. It's a good chance it's up there.
So, like, I got to get into this here because, like, so not only are you the kayak angler, you're a river adventure guy, but you're also the marketing coordinator for Yak Attack, which is the largest producer of Yak Attack products to rigging the dream for kayak anglers, freshwater and saltwater. So many awesome products. It's I'll be honest with you. My last river run, we got to use the leverage landing net for the very first time, as I previously had my own little setup that I used, and I acquired a leverage landing net, and I have to say that is a pretty neat net. Like, that whole idea with the support and whatnot to actually get in there, and the fact that it folds. No, that's really cool. So, and I do use Yak Attack products, but no, like I gotta say, like, how so we get down the road in your story, and then all of a sudden you end up at Yak Attack. Like, how did that happen? Like, was that something you dreamed of? Like, is that something that was in the works, or was it more just like, hey, like, you guys kind of do what I like, so.
Well, I mean, in the back of my mind for a few years, it definitely was. I mean, I come from 15 years in the auto body industry, and had to get away from that. Had to try something different, and took a job with a friend at an electrical contracting company, and worked there 2 years. The very first project that I got to work on there was the electrical upfit for the building that Yak Attack would be moving into, and that's where it kind of started right there.
Oh, that's cool.
But I mean, long story short, the desk job was not the job for me. It was an awesome opportunity, but I mean, I ended up reaching out to Luther Cyphers, the founder of Yak Attack, via Facebook Messenger. I'd seen some posts where they were, hiring, looking for help, and he said, "Absolutely, let's get together and talk." So I went up to the plant, and I mean, he started trying to find a place to put me in. I guess the little bit of posting on social media groups and the bona fide fishing groups, I didn't think he was paying attention, but apparently he already knew who I was from what he tells me.
Oh, that's always good.
Well, yeah, I mean, after we been working together for a while, I had to tell him about the first time that I met him, because I felt like I just rushed him, and I talked really, really fast and probably didn't make any sense. He was like, "Well, no." He's like, "I already knew who you were." I was like, "Oh, well, that's pretty cool." But so he brought me right in the door as the inventory and purchasing manager. So did that for a year and a half, and John needed help in marketing. And obviously at this point, me and John are good friends, and we kayak together, we fish together. So yeah, he went to Luther and told him he needed some help, and Luther approached me with the opportunity, and I've been doing it ever since. 2 years now.
So, like, man,
just the lucky kayak fisherman, man. That's I tell people all the time.
At the same time, maybe that's where it was all meant to go. You know what I mean? Like, it. I'm a believer in everything happens for a reason, but I do have to say that that's cool, because when you look at like, for me, like, I'm a welder, so, like, I keep my work's at work, and kayak fishing is my hobby, and it's something I'm very passionate about. But to do it as a profession, like, man, that would be like, I don't even know if I like, that's for me, that's a total like 360. Like, I get up every day and, I go to work, and I'm as a welder, it's not a very clean job. So, and to go and do something that, yeah, it is opposite. And, when you look at as an auto body guy, like that's kind of the same. It's a blue collar trade. So, and then you go into a job where you're, now you're kind of living your passion. You know what I mean? You're taking what and you're allowing others to see it, but you're offering the guidance that somebody like Luther has put you in this position as somebody that yeah, I really trust in what he does. And you can, and I'll be honest with you, your social media, man, it is like, it is on, like, it's on point, man. Like, it is so, I really like what you have. And I think I've seen, and I've always really enjoyed the videos that you do for Yak Attack. But it's just like, you got you got everything in it, man. Like, and I think that's really cool, So
Yeah, I mean, it's fun for me. I mean, obviously the ones that I like doing the most, I call the kayak fishing music videos, basically, where we're just out there and it tells the story. You kind of you launch and you get out there and you have fun and you catch fish and just share that whole experience. That's my favorite video to make by far.
So if you come in with this, you're the marketing coordinator, you obviously have a team that works with you.
Yes.
In that you kind of lead, I guess you would say.
Well, no, not really. I mean, Yak Attack, I mean, a lot of people think we're this huge corporation at this point, but I mean, it's still, we're still in one building. We do everything from conception to, the molding, the assembly, and shipping all out of one building. And our marketing department right now, it's me and who most people are familiar with, John Hipsher, who is the marketing manager. And it's the two of us. We have, an awesome graphic designer, but I mean, he has other roles, but he helps us out a lot with, our stickers of the month that have been, tons of fun. But
yeah, those are cool. Those are really cool. I've seen the recent one that you guys had done. That's a friend of mine had posted it, and I said, man, I really like that. I would stick that all over my trailer and my boat. So
yeah, the compass, that's actually, I mean, I can't take credit for how it looks. I mean, that's all the graphic designer, but that's one that I wanted. Even the words, like, just now that one had meaning.
So, like, as a you're the guy who's in front of the camera.
Unfortunately, yeah.
No, like, I think that you're natural. Like, at the end of the day, like, there's just certain, you have that certain presence. Like, it just seems so natural for you, and maybe that's just something that you've always done. But like, I got to know, like, in the past, was that something you'd always done? Was that something that you could say that, yeah, like I actually used to be, in front of the camera all the time. Like, is it, or is this something that you just kind of found later in life that, yeah, I really enjoy it?
It's like anything, it's learned. I mean, the last half of, my time in the auto body industry, I managed a production body shop. So, I mean, you're dealing with people. I mean, it's like customer service on steroids, because nobody that comes to see you there is having a good day. So, I mean, it's just, being friendly and making people feel good and comfortable. And
so
I don't know. But yeah, filming, being in front of the camera was never.
So do you have a film crew, or is it like you kind of set it all up yourself, and that's how
usually I mean, if I need, if I want to start out, I mean, I'll get John to hold the phone for me, or likewise. But it's a one-man crew. I mean, I get content mostly on the cell phone just because it's easy. I mean, it's easy to edit and pulling from a bunch of different things. Just got a new GoPro Hero 12. So playing with that. So you'll see more, hopefully better GoPro content coming soon. But yeah, it's just, kind of building on what we have, but it's all pretty primitive, I guess you could say. Not a big crew with lights and all that fancy stuff. We're just, giving it to everybody pretty raw, and honest, just
it. Well, it. I every time I go on social media, I always see, and so it's really cool to be able to sit down with you on the other side and just hear all about this, because at the end of the day, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, man, like the guy on the other side of the camera, like that's there he is, he's the Yak. I always would say the Yak Attack. I would be Mr. Yak Attack. As you have that presence and seeing it on social media and whatnot. So now, how do you get creative in that sense? Like when you go into content creation, for Yak Attack, what is like, what's your mindset? Like, how do you kind of get prepared for that? Because I'm sure like at the same time, you don't want every video to like sound the same, and because every product is different. So with every different product, has a different video, has a different, strategy to which we approach it with, Yeah,
it's just, it's all, I'm just having fun. Like I said, a lot of it is shooting from the hip. Sometimes I have the idea going into it and I know the shots that I want to get. But I'll chalk it up to luck and just really enjoying, like you said, being truly passionate about it. Just, I'm having a ball.
So in like Yak Attack has like you guys have a lot of products,
a lot of stuff. Yeah,
a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff that is carried around like worldwide. Like Yak Attack is very popular in Canada, very popular in the United States, and I'm sure worldwide it probably just geographically keeps growing.
Oh yeah, I've used Google Translate to have conversations with people in Hungary that got to meet the USA Kayak team when they were over in Spain a few years ago. We have a dealer in Hungary and Germany, and or currently trying to grow the UK, international side of that distribution. Nice. But yeah, we ship all over the world.
Wow. Like, how about this? When because Yak Attack, it is just you guys have like products, you have all the bases covered, I feel like. Some of the newer products, which I'm interested about, is like the side stage pro rod rack with the lock and load mounts, like as a as for me as a river angler, I like to keep my rods down. I don't really like and keeping them up. I always feel like I'm going to hook it into the tree, or I've snapped a couple tips doing that. Yeah. So I've gotten into the mode of actually keeping them laying down, and I use like the Omega rod holders. I actually also acquired a Black Pack Pro, which I have 8 rod holders on it, and it's that's a pretty fantastic. I had the original Black Pack, and I always liked it. My favorite, I'd have to say, I don't know, the leverage landing net is very becoming one of my favorite products, but I gotta say those rod holders, like the way it just secures down to your track system, and the way it's secured in there, like I gotta say that's probably one of my favorite products by Yak Attack. Like for me,
it's one of the first ones that I ever bought.
It actually is one of the first ones that I bought.
Yeah, 6 years ago, I bought my first Bonafide. Before that, I was in a sit inside, $500 kayak.
Yeah.
And abused it for years, and then the time came to get a real fishing kayak, and ended up landing on the Bonafide. And very first thing I did was buy some Mighty Mount XL gear track and Omega Pro fishing holders, fishing rod holders.
My first kayak was a sit inside. It was one that we had at the cottage that I used, and it was a Wilderness Systems. And as I got more and more into it, I was like, you know what? I want to buy my own kayak. And I had all these gift cards for this. It's called Sail Outdoors. It's a like Bass Pro Shop. It's an outdoor store, and it had this sale on this Pelican, and so I jumped the gun real quick on it, and it was really cool because it actually came with a rod holder in the center of this thing. Now this thing was a 10-foot kayak. Over time, it was a little bit. To me, it was on a little bit of the smaller side for my comfort, but I was new to it, and it was something I used. But I always enjoyed the rod holder, and I just liked the idea that I could put my rod in there and paddle, and I would be able to, not have to, worry about getting things tangled, or even because I was so nervous about losing things, like dropping things in the water.
Yeah.
So then I acquired a Jackson Liska, and one of the first things that I bought from my Jackson Liska was the rod holder. And to this day, I still use those rod holders. I actually bought 2 more to put on the back side of my Liska, and then I have another one that's on the right on the side of my seat. I have gear tracking there, and I put another rod holder there. And I'll be honest with you, like those things, I've put those things through the paces. Like I have not to this day, and I can't get over. And the durability of Yak Attack products is like second to none. Like it is incredible. Like, and with all my other products, I even run the fish finder mount also, and I have ran it on 2 different kayaks. I have mounted it several different ways, and like that innovation into these products, and like some of these new products that are coming out through Yak Attack, like, and even to go into like a dry bag, like, the dry bag, or even and all the cool colors that you guys come out with in the actual fishing fishing crates, like man, like the side stagers, I think would be something that I would definitely like to check out.
They're a product that I think it gets a lot of hate because it's not really understood. I mean, you as a river angler, I mean, you understand the need for them, and it was a push towards the motor guys and the pedal drive guys. I mean, you usually get that comment, I can't paddle around that and things like that. But I mean, it's really for those low, low cover situations. I mean, it's super handy.
When I seen that, I was like, oh yeah, like that is to me, and as and you can see it there, like, the idea, and I think that's what makes, I think, Yak Attack kind of neat, is that you guys, as all are anglers at the same time, you know what I mean? Like you all aren't just, engineering the stuff. Like you're actually having a chance to take it out, use it, understand the product, see the growth of those products, see where actually, maybe we need to actually go down this route with it, or actually, what, this product right now, it works great itself. If you were only to have one Yak Attack product that came out new, which one would it be?
I think it's gonna have to be the track packs.
I would say that the track pack is, and it's a very popular, because I know a lot of guys that when those first started coming out and the videos started to roll in, I gotta say, those look like, I don't actually own one, but from what I can see, those look like really handy. Like if you're looking to get a little more organized on your boat, At the same time, just a nice, easy, quick place to put something without it being like all over, the deck, because I think that's, that part there is, where that thing really shines is, the ability to not leave, all this kind of, treble hooks and whatever all over the deck of your boat.
Absolutely.
You can just kind of, or throw some plastics in there, depending on how many people, how much you take out with you. I try to keep things like as minimal as possible, so I don't want to take loads and loads out with me. But
I end up with all kinds of things at the end of the day. But I mean, for me, the track pack, I mean, it wasn't a hard sell right away. It wasn't until actually taking it out, using it, trying to start getting some of the first content with it out on the water, and immediately it's like, we need to do trays. We need to organize these things. And after those trays came out, I mean, I've converted basically emptied all of my Plano boxes, all my 36 and 3700 boxes. And now everything that I have lives in track packs. And, I snap that little handle on it. I can walk them into the man cave and organize things, and then walk them back out, set them in the truck, and just snap them in place where I want them on the kayak. I mean, the Bonafide has the junk drawer. I mean, I have them mounted in the junk drawer underneath. One on the dry pod in front of me that keeps, the go-to items, and extras inside the black pack.
I think I really like that. I remember when I first saw the track pack, and I was like, okay, like, and I'm like, all right, so you have, like, let's say you have your crate at the back, and you got everything in there. And the way I saw it was, man, this thing looks perfect for, as you're siphoning, let's say you're going through a couple baits, so you're not always turning back, and you can just kind of put everything there out of the way, because treble hooks will always find your pants, your sandals, your feet, your socks. Doesn't matter. Don't think that it won't. They will. And they always find mine. And I don't know what it is. I almost stepped on a crankbait one time where the hook just about made its way through my nice little sandal. And it's like, had that been into my foot out there, probably would have ruined my day. You know what I mean? Like, where I can see.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was to say, I mean, I've seen video where people have, had a fish flopping around the deck of the boat, and it pick up one of those loose hooks and, put it in somebody's leg, right in their calf muscle. So I mean, that's where the track pack really shines. People wanted the board with the holes to hang hooks, and I'm like, no, that's an instrument of death. I do not want that, 6 baits with treble hooks swinging around, in the middle of the deck. I mean, that track pack, you pop it open, you throw it in, you're good to go.
Now, like, another product that I like, me personally, I thought was kind of cool, because I think it's not just a kayak fishing product. I think it shines and could shine in lots of different situations. But it is the 20-liter roll top dry bag backpack. I think that is going to be a hit for anybody who is into bank fishing, anybody who doesn't have hatches on their kayaks. Like, my Lizka has hatches, but my Bite FD pedal drive does not have hatches. So I actually use a lot of dry bags. And I think the backpack, because most of my dry bags aren't backpacks, they're just, kind of like carry, easy go, kind of throw it there. I think a bag like that would shine awesome. But at the same time, bank fishing, like with my son, bank fishing, like with my son, that would be awesome. Like something we could just put all our tackle in, don't have to worry about, because, you go wading and, you bring your backpack, and next thing you know, you're kind of like a little bit deeper in the water now, and that backpack is having a dry bag like that. That would be awesome. But it could be used so many different ways,
That's definitely a fun place that we're getting into. I mean, that was just one of those fun projects. It's simple for what it is, but you get a lot of use out of it for sure. I mean, I love to river camp. I haven't been able to do it as much over the past few years, but definitely want to get back into it and find some time this fall. But I mean, it's perfect for things like that. I mean, you can throw. actually travel with it daily. It's where I keep the GoPros and the gimbal and my
Like,
microphones, and
it would
like
be great for that.
they live inside that, and that's how I
Now,
drag them around. But your rain gear or your dry gear.
yeah. Oh, that's where I see it. Not just like I said, not just shining just for like kayak anglers. I can see that, as a product that shines in so many different spots. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's a versatile. In the sense it's great. When you think about gear, expensive gear that you may not want to get wet, that would be a awesome investment, like you said, for GoPros, your camera stuff. Yeah, the stuff you want to keep dry, that would be it. Now, I had also seen a post about something interesting here, and I'm the type of angler that I don't have a GoPro. Well, I do, but I'm getting back into this whole GoPro using an action camera to capture my adventures. But I'll be honest with you, I solely do this all on my phone. I have a panfish mount with, well, I sent you a picture of it, but it has the ram grip on it. And I mount it to the front of my kayak, and and that's where I take pictures with it. I shoot video with it. It's where my phone sits, and I have it like tethered to it, so I can't. If I were to flip, I wouldn't lose it. But Yak Attack has decided to come out with something even cooler.
Yeah, and it's one of those projects there that it's been highly requested for years and years and years. I mean, people that have been on our pro staff team for pushing a decade. I mean, they will tell you it's a big one, but it's one of those products. There are so many. I mean, thousands of designs out there. I mean, you go on Amazon, type in phone holder, and it never ends. So how do you do something that's original and practical, as well as unique, all at the same time, and have it really, scream Yak Attack? So this is obviously, I think a lot of people have seen what we ended up with, taking, design cues from the classic Roto-Grip paddle holder, which is, evolved into so many other different things now for your parking poles, even the leaderboard. This is the one that I think personally, works the best. I've been testing the prototype since March in my Jeep, and I have an old '93 Wrangler. So yeah, they opted against shocks and went with the leaf spring. So it's a nice bumpy ride, and it's held up very well.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's surprisingly secure. If anybody's curious at all, it'll impress you.
Well, I have to say I was very impressed when I saw that. And as for one new product that I would say that I would definitely like to try out, just because I always have my phone with me when I'm out on the water. I use it, like I said, as my action camera. That would definitely be the mount to get. Like, it's funny you say, like, you talk about, like, and how, like, when you're getting these suggestions, you're getting, they're coming in, and whether it's from customers, your pro staff members, and they're like, hey, like, we need this. It's almost like the leaderboard, you know what I mean? Like the leaderboard that you guys came out with. That there is, another really cool product. And when that first came out, it was just like blowing up everywhere. Like you could see people were really out there pushing it. I feel like the phone holder is just going to be like that. It's just, when it hits, it'll be that product that I really think people are going to pick up. And I really think it's cool that if you know what, there's nothing wrong with having extra friends on the podcast. We don't mind at all. Trust me, we are very pet friendly, and we encourage all others to invite their pets to it. Mine, I don't know where he is, but sometimes he actually sits down on the floor around me. But he is not here tonight. He's probably upstairs with my daughter. But the River Run podcast and Wade. We have a sweet little giveaway that we're going to do. And this is to the listeners of the River Run podcast streaming. On August 17th, you might be one of the very lucky people to receive the new Yak Attack phone holder. We're going to select one lucky winner. So if you're interested in being in this giveaway, I will select one random winner, and we will send you the phone holder, the new phone holder from Yak Attack. Here's what you got to do. The deal is you have to leave me a comment, use the hashtag Yak Attack, and also in it tag Yak Attack in your post down in the description. If you're interested, you can do that. That'll be the draw. Announce the winner will be August 17th. It will be announced at 8 p.m. and I will get in contact with the lucky winner, and you will receive the brand new phone holder from Yak Attack, courtesy of Wade and the fantastic crew at Yak Attack, which is super cool. And it's also really cool because this is like the very first giveaway that the River Run is doing. So I really, and I got to give this all to Wade because he reached out about this idea, and I was like, yeah, dude, I really like this. This is the first one, so hey, another bridge is crossed, man. Yeah. And
this will be the first one that we've given away. I mean, and to elaborate on that, we are giving away the Pro version. So that's the bigger version that includes the lock and load base, the extension arm, ball and everything. So it's going to be the bigger, again, Pro version. So yeah, like Adam said, I mean, hit us in the comments and hopefully you'll be that lucky winner.
Yeah, hopefully
first kids on the block with it. It'll be that's the week that it's going live.
So yeah, and guys, like it's really simple. So here's how it's going to work. All you have to do is comment down below, but at the same time use the Yak Attack hashtag. Also use at Yak Attack, and like I said, Wade and I on August 17th at 8 p.m. we will select one random winner, which maybe we'll find a way. If maybe we'll go live. I don't know. We'll either way we'll select. We'll make a post about it. I will reach out to that individual. But yeah, guys, comment down below if you want that opportunity to win a brand new Yak Attack phone holder, the Pro Series. Comment down below. Do it. The gates are open now. It's all up to you guys. But I do want to go back to when you're talking about like you take all these products, okay, and you're testing them. Like, are you giving them to do you send them do you have a select individual that you choose for testing here? Like, is it like I got to find the guy who's the roughest on his gear, you know what I mean? I got to put it through the paces, or is it like, what, here, try this out, let me know what you think? Or do you kind of look outside of the box and go with somebody who has no idea, with what that product could be used for, and just kind of pick at their mind, kind of using the idea that, you kind of look at it this way and they're looking at it like a whole nother way.
It's definitely some great perspective to have, but most of it's team guys. Our product development pace, I'll say, it's definitely been supercharged here in the last year and a half. We went from having one designer, and now we have 4. We brought in 3 more very talented guys. I mean, these guys are cranking out things all the time that nobody gets to see. Some people might never see. So it's kind of us in the office. Again, that's something I'm very blessed to be a part of. Is we share an office space, me, John, and the 4 designers. So we're always talking, we're always communicating, and there's 6, actually 7 3D printers running all day long, every day, overnight prints. So there's always new things popping up to talk about. And again, one of the lucky people that gets to be the first one to take some of these things out. And as that product grows, we get the team involved and try to find some key people that really have that experience, as it pertains to that particular product.
Now, like on the river run, we've actually had a Yak Attack. Well, we had 2. So we've had Jay Brown on, who's a Canadian Yak Attack team member.
Oh yeah, chit chat back and forth. Just through the phone, social media stuff with Jay. Quite a bit, man.
Yeah. Drew Gregory has been on the show also. Mm-hmm. And it's cool to see your team guys. We have even another one, Aaron Dodds. He is another Canadian team member for Yak Attack, also a fellow Jackson team member. But it's really cool to see like these guys talk about the products, and even in like just local seminars that go on at different paddle shops, and like their involvement within the community. And it's cool to see just the sheer amount of product knowledge that you have, that your team members have for this. And it's cool seeing the videos too on how they they get creative with rigging, and because I think that's one of the biggest things that as kayak anglers, we talk about tackle a lot. Like there's always like, oh, did you see that new bait? Or did you try this? Or but it's rigging. And like even right now, for myself, like I got the Bite FD last summer, and I'm still playing around with the rigging. Like I'm not really 100% sold yet on how I want it. I've been kind of playing with things, but I can take my Lizcat out and be like, I know exactly how I know everything goes, and that's how I'm going to do it. So it's fun playing around with, talking with people who've, rigged these boats, and, just their insight to it, and just a lot of other fellow teammates in, whether it was Jackson or even talking to, friends over who are on the Yak Attack team. It's cool, their helpful insight, and I think that's what just really makes also your team atmosphere really awesome at Yak Attack. So,
I mean, it's different. Every boat, every person. I mean, they're affectionately called the Legos of kayak fishing. I mean, you can do so many things with it. I mean, the way I'm going to set up a boat is not the way that you're going to set up a boat.
No,
I mean, I know guys that like rods all out in front of them. I like, me personally, the mullet method. It's business in the front and the parties in the back.
Oh, I like that. That just made my day right there. That is the best thing I've heard yet.
You're welcome. But yeah, I mean, I don't want a lot of rods, anything to get tangled up on. I mean, gosh, if I had good footage of just fish jumping around the deck trying to hold a fish down on a measuring board, man, it gets nuts. So I want a nice, clear, organized space. Some people, I mean, they that don't have all the stuff. They're like, yeah, that thing's a floating gadget holder. I was like, but I'm organized. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. It's out of my way, or it's right within an arm's reach. And if I turtle this boat, there's not going to be a yard sale floating down the river. You know, it's everything is going to be in the same place when I flip it back over.
Oh, I really like your terminology. A yard sale floating down the river.
I guess it must be a Virginia thing then, because that's the one that I've always heard.
Yeah, well, you know what? Short in the front, party in the back. That has officially made my night. Like that is, I really like that. But like you know, when you talk about the whole Lego aspect of it, and when I first heard that, I was like, oh man, like I remember being a kid, you know, when I was younger, and I was huge into Lego. Like Lego was just something, you know, it was like, oh man, and birthday, Christmas, you name it, my parents knew what to get me. It was Lego, and
absolutely,
it's funny later in life now, you know, and I'm almost 40, and here I am, and I'm still having that creative vision of how, you know, things need to go together. And I think that's what makes it so exciting. And you can, and if you know, the ability, like nothing, like the beauty, what I think of Yak Attack is nothing's truly permanent. You know, you have the ability to turn things, you have the ability to move things, and if you don't like something, it's not permanently fixed. You know, you didn't have like, you don't necessarily. I'm not going to say like, you know, I'm sure there's lots of products, you know, that Yak Attack has that you probably have to drill holes, but yeah, it's fun and it's cool. You know, the conversation of rigging, and like you guys use that motto. I believe it's rigging the dream. As I remember,
that's one of the original. I mean, one of the older ones. It's more you make it yours.
Yeah,
is the you know the tagline now. So it's. I mean, it's both. I mean, it's literally like you said, make it yours.
And
the
like
possibilities are endless.
You know, and tell us, like, you know, for the listeners, you know, like let us know what your favorite, you know, Yak Attack products are. You know, how do you rig it? You know, that's fun. I gotta say, like, I'm one of those guys that, you know, I could just go and sit there and move this, move that over there, try that. Okay, do this, you know. And I think it took me a couple of runs on the Lizka for sure. And I know in the end I'm narrowing it down. And I've had this conversation with somebody else, and they're like, yeah, just try this, try that. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, and I feel like it's getting there. And I remember, and I was watching a video too, and I remember just stopping and just being like, oh, like, yes, this is happening. Like somebody finally understands like what I'm looking for now, or like, you know, yes, it's been done, you know. And I think that's where the beauty of Yak Attack shines too, is that there's so many people that like show how they rig it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's cool, you know. Like I love to teach. I love, you know, learning things, but I love sharing my experience. You know what I mean? And if I can share my experience, you know, whether it's, you know, on the water, off the water, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, you know, I think, you know, there's people out there that they like that, you know. And I think, you know, you can see, you know, for your kayaks, as you know, you're a bona fide. Which bona fide do you have?
I have
bona fides.
Yeah, I have two bona fide SS01-Eps.
Cool.
I went with the 10-foot kayak just for the maneuverability in the rivers. I mean, I loved it. As soon as I saw that they made one in red, I had to go get one in red as well.
Yeah,
I've been rocking those two for a while. I've definitely had my eye on an RVR. They're basically their river build. But I mean, I've had the opportunity to be in so many other great boats too. I mean, that's what I've got. But we picked up some Old Towns not too long ago, and maybe it's not my choice for the river, but anytime that I get on a lake, I hate having to paddle across the lake. I'm not a motor guy. I'm not an electronics guy really at all. I like just to get out and learn a body of water and use instincts, and sometimes it's hit or miss, but
I like that approach.
Yeah, but I mean the old towns that we been using for the past few months, I mean they're awesome. You were talking about the Bite FD, their pedal drive, I mean, is phenomenal. I really like it after they worked the kinks out of it. It was a great one, and just the having that lever to deploy, and stow the prop there is super, I mean, crucial. And when you're fighting big fish and they run into the boat, it's just, everybody's got their things that they do really well.
I'll be honest with you. I really like that approach of kind of going with your instincts, let Mother Nature, listening, reading the water.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's different in the river. I mean, lakes, especially. I mean, if you're a tournament guy, don't listen to me. If you're competing for money with other folks that are
100%.
Running live scope and get you a live scope, it's silly not to.
Well, you got to get with it
that level. But for the river, it's just you're gonna grind basically any transducer you stick in the water. You're gonna grind it to pieces. A mile down the river. So you're looking for those holes. Looking for those. The current breaks and
the bends,
that cast, across that shelf where the water falls off. I mean, I'm looking for water. I don't do a lot of flat water. I mean, I love white water. That's the other part of the adventure half of this. So, I mean, I'm not doing, the lazy river. I'm looking for something exciting, class 2s. Occasionally I go find some class 3s to play around with, in the sit on top fishing kayak. I think I've pushed the limits about as far as I can in that S01-07.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Downtown Richmond, Virginia. I mean, they've got some awesome class 3 rapids. I mean, I've gone swimming, nothing crazy, nothing, catastrophic by any means, but I've gone for a swim both times. I've run that stretch in different places, but I mean, that's again, the other side of that coin, to fishing. It's that thrill seeking kind of part of it. Like the videos that, Jackson Kayak does, like I would love to tag along with Dane Jackson and drop some waterfalls like that. That speaks to me. Like I want to do that kind of stuff so bad.
Well, if you're listening, if you're out there and you just happen to run by the River Run podcast, I'm telling you now, my friend Wade here, he wants to get out on some serious rapids, wants to drop some waterfalls. So Team Jackson.
Yeah, if I can hijack you for a second, that's actually part of what I'm doing. I told you, before I got home, I was going to look at a kayak. So I picked up a borrowed whitewater kayak and a spray skirt for some training that Jeff Little and a group, some of us other guys have been doing. The first part of it, Drew Gregory and Russ Snyders and Dustin Hoy were all involved. This next part of it, Jeff Little and I are going to be going to North Carolina next weekend to level up and get our level 2 and level 3 instructor certifications for river fishing.
So that's through the American Canoe Association?
Yeah, through the ACA.
Yes, ACA. That's it. Yeah. So Jeff was talking about that when he was on the podcast, and we were talking about, and Drew was talking about it too when he was on. We were talking about the Kayak Adventure Series, and he spoke about how you're going to have the ability to also come down on a Sunday and you can learn paddling skills. And you can learn from guys like Jeff Little. I think that's really cool, like what you guys are going to do there, and and just like for a river angler or for any river angler out there, Jeff Little too is somebody that I'm sure people have followed his story, and
he's one of my mentors, and I get to go on this adventure with him now. It's a crazy experience, but I mean, it's really good. I didn't realize how much I was doing wrong, and I mean, just learning some different paddle strokes, some sculling strokes, different things, and how it can improve just your fishing game just by boat positioning. I mean, and the safety side of it too is huge, which we really need to bring in people's heads, because people don't identify those dangers with kayak fishing the same way they would with whitewater or rafting or some of those other disciplines in the paddle sports industry.
Well, I think if you watch Jeff's videos and you just listen to him talk about it, like he is forever teaching us, and you can learn so much from him, whether it's paddling, fishing, tackle, rod building. He goes out there and he's fishing all sorts of different species. But man, like the guy is a wealth of knowledge, and
yeah, and
for
he'll
me,
Miyagi you too.
yeah,
He'll Mr. Miyagi you. You won't even realize it. Next thing you know, you're doing something right. And
yeah, and I could totally see it. Like, and it's funny, like even when he was on the podcast, it was just cool to sit there and, like I said, talk. But no, so you're gearing up for this next adventure. So how, like, what's next? Like, so we got some paddling coming up, some ACA stuff. What else? Like, what else is going on with Wade?
I don't know. Like I said, that's the big part of it right now. I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to say the retirement plan, but you'll be able to use that platform with what we're doing. I'm sorry, the dog keeps pumping the table here and shaking the camera, but
that's all right.
Through that process, I mean, I didn't really know what it was at first, and it wasn't until we were wrapping up that first weekend of the level 1 training that I found out that I am the very first kayak fishing ACA certified instructor in the state of Virginia. Wow. So, I mean, I'd like to, I was telling you, my son just graduated. He's going off to college. So,
yes,
some of that free time, get into doing these classes, and, hopefully I can play a part in helping build that network and bring that safety, to the sport.
Yeah, that's for me. That would be something
honestly,
I think
I would love to just
do.
guide the river and take people through the Class 2 rapids and these sketchy areas.
With you.
Please, let's go.
All right.
Anytime. But yeah, being able to do that and share that with people.
I should look into that and see if there's something up here in Canada that has that style of, or even in New York. I should look at that. I would like to do something like that. Yeah, it would be cool too. I love teaching, and I think it's cool to actually just go out and learn how to be a better, safer angler on the water, even though we might think what we're doing is safe, but like just like boat positioning, paddling skills, like there's just a lot that I think I'm still learning, but I would love to obviously do something like that. I was actually thinking at one point too, I know when Drew was on, he had mentioned that the closest kayak adventure series to where I am is the Fiesta on the Susky, I think it is.
Yeah, that's where they are this week.
Yeah, so he's like, man, you should. It's like only 5 hours. Like, I was like, I wish I could make it, but it's just, and it would be cool to do something like that. But
it'd be cool. I mean, I think a lot of people would have to go out and get their passport, but be able to bring something like that to Canada too.
Yeah, I think
we went back in May, and I got to fish the lower and upper Niagara rivers. Right there. One bank is the USA, the other bank is Canada. And I mean, it was some of the most beautiful water I've ever seen in my life. I mean, just crystal clear, emerald green water. I mean, with some very nice smallmouth.
Yeah, you should. The St. Lawrence River is full of beautiful smallmouth, and it's long river, and it's a load of fun to fish. So if you ever get the opportunity to come up, you're always welcome. Coming down to Cornwall, Ontario, that's where I am, and yeah, man, if you ever come up this way, it would be really cool to get out and fish. Or
I hope to. I mean, I want to fish in many places as I can.
New York too is beautiful.
The current goal right now is just knocking out all of Virginia. I'm secretly a Google Earth addict. I spend way too much time on Google Earth looking for that next boat launch, and they let you save projects. So, I mean, I have rivers all over the state mapped with the distances and where the ramps are, just hopefully one day I can get it all worked in and knock out the whole state along with as much of the country as I can get in.
Now, when you talk about rivers in Virginia, would the Geniata would be one that would flow through Virginia? Does it not?
It's not one that I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Coastal?
The New River is another one?
Yeah, the New River is my favorite, which is that it's actually the oldest river in the country.
Yes.
Ironically named the New River.
That's cool.
Yeah, like I said, that's where I cut my teeth. That's where I got my start, and hopefully, retire one day.
The New River, the Geniata, the Susquehanna, for me are just like three rivers that I would just absolutely love to fish. I would like to have the chance to go out there, and I'm actually pretty close to the like northern branch of the Susquehanna, where it kind of borders like New York and Pennsylvania, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping to do an overnight 2-day type of trip, do some car camping, dirt bag it for the weekend type of thing, and fish out there. But yeah, no, the New River, I've seen so many videos of it, and it just, man, it has adventure written all over it. And I do a lot of the same, where I sit on Google Maps, and I literally, actually more Google Earth, and I just kind of start to like, oh, what about this here? What about that here? Oh, this. Oh, and then
you gotta be careful with that, though.
I know.
That's how I got myself into my first mess with whitewater. Trying to navigate further down the New River from freeze, and I saw a bunch of rocks on the map. I'm like, oh, okay, so it'll probably take me a while navigating this rock guard. No, it's technical, rapids. It's all shoals. So yeah. I mean, I sank my sit inside kayak 3 times and had to get it over the bank and dump water, and it scared the crap out of me. And I couldn't get enough after that. I had to keep doing it.
I don't know if it's, some of these rivers I don't think I would do by myself. You know what I mean? Like I would like to do it with others. Just because
definitely,
it's never a good idea to do it by yourself. The adventure is, it's always better when you got partners out there. But yeah, like I gotta say, like it's that's really cool. Like, and I hope you guys have a blast, man. Like I think you're going to like really excel as you go through that, and at the same time, like you said, like you're going to be learning new skills, and new skills are always fun. And why not do it with like some of the, some of the best river anglers out there, and I think that's really going to be a cool adventure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, just I guess through the whole process, the people you get to meet, like I said, getting to do this with Jeff Little and Drew and some of the other guys. And I think that's the best thing about this whole sport and this job, is the people in the industry, getting to go to ICAST the last 2 years and meeting people from all over the countryside that, I engage with through social media, and getting to meet these people and, getting to hang out and talk with you tonight. I mean, the people in kayak fishing, for the most part, I mean, are awesome folks, very, very like-minded. It's awesome to be play the part in it that I get to play. Like I said, I'm just a lucky guy that's having fun.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing a pretty fantastic job at what you do, and I really appreciate you taking the time and coming on the River Run podcast. As this has been really, really an awesome episode. And as we end this episode, I got 5 questions for you. So I'm going to shoot you 5. Okay, so if you could only go out with one fishing lure, what would it be?
Oh, I
It's
mean, I
got to
don't
be
get to know what time of year it is or anything
no, it's
like
just
that.
one. If you could only fish one, what is it going to be?
I'm going to throw the Whopper Plopper. The
Nice.
River to Sea, the 90 series. It makes this.
Nice.
I mean,
Oh,
all the different sizes, they have that different flop to them, and that 90 just that's the one I've caught all my trophy smallmouth on. So that's where I'm going.
all
And
right.
you can't beat a topwater day.
Oh no, you can't. It's an adrenaline rush. Like it's just like kind of like a kid and you played with that little twisty thing and you wondered when it was gonna jump out at you. I feel like the
Dude, I've
smallmouth are
never
like,
thought about that. That's
like
a great
do,
analogy.
and you're like, oh, it's gonna come. And then boom, it's there. It's the same thing with the smallmouth. I find like you're just going along, another cast, going along, another cast, and then boom, it's just like it's out of the water. Yeah. So all right, question number 2. We'll got to focus here. I'm sorry. I get talking about smallmouth and look what happens. Hey,
Yeah.
I apologize, guys. I really do.
I will apologize for future mishaps.
Well, all right. Question number 2. If you could only fish with one person, who would it be? It can, and it could be anybody. Like it could be, family. It could be a professional angler. Whoever.
My son.
All right. Nice. I like that. My son and I do a lot of fishing, kayak fishing. I've been taking him out, oh God, years. Even when he was on a little Pelican, I would take him with me. Just paddle around, dude. Have fun.
Yeah.
Catch
that
some
was
fish.
Our father, or father and son time.
Yeah.
For quite a few years till he got older, and then he's out there and pick up the fishing rods and he's got his earbuds in, listening to his music, just chilling,
Yeah.
But
they're at the end of the day, they're gonna do them, like they're having fun. So if you could only have one Yak Attack product, what would it be?
Oh,
ooh,
I'm trying to think. I mean, we kind of hit that question a little bit earlier, and I said track pack, but at the end of the day, maybe the black pack. Just it's that overall storage. It's behind me. It doubles, with the rod holders on it. So that is the, that's step one in rigging a kayak for me. Is
I like it.
The right black pack.
I like it. All right. Well, we got 2 more. So be prepared, as these are only going to get harder and harder. If you could only fish one body of water for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Double shoals on the New River.
All right. I had a feeling we were going that way.
That's my spot.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. So if there was one place that you could new body of water that you could go and fish, and this can be anywhere in the world, where would it be?
That's a tough one.
There you go.
That's a tough one. I mean,
you knew I was coming with it.
I mean, I love smallmouth fishing, but there's something about a saltwater fish. I've unfortunately, gotten a little spoiled. When you get out there and you hook into a big salty fish. So I mean, you've got places like Panama, Los Buzos. Tarpon. I think the tarpon would be the prize fish. Catching the tarpon from the kayak from the kayak. Tried last year in St. Augustine and ended up catching a 6-foot shark.
Wow.
The tarpon were there, but just never hooked up. But that's the fish. So I don't know whether my best chances are for that might be somewhere Florida, I would guess.
All right. Well,
maybe the Keys.
All right. Well, you know what? I think those are all awesome answers, and as we come to the end of the River Run podcast, Wade, like I said, I really appreciate you coming on. This has been loads of fun. We're going to have you back on. You are going to need to return onto the podcast. But for those people, let them know where they can find you on the socials. Well,
I mean, obviously everything Yak Attack. yakattack.us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I'm a little slow to get things up to YouTube, just the pace that we run constantly, but or feel free to reach out. Reach out through those socials. Give us a call at the shop. We have an awesome customer service team. We actually, when you call Yak Attack, you talk to a person, and some very knowledgeable young ladies, and just the staff we have at Yak Attack is incredible. Some of the best people in the world. So find us if you have any questions, need any help. Ask for me. I'll talk to somebody on the phone any day. So we're always here.
Awesome. Wade, like I said, I just wanted to thank you for coming on the podcast. It's been awesome. Don't forget, Wade, Yak Attack, the River Run podcast is dropping the first giveaway. You'll be randomly selected to win. You saw it. That's right. The phone holder from Yak Attack. You got till the August 17th. I will select one random winner. You know what you got to do, and that is use the hashtag for Yak Attack. Also, tag Yak Attack in it, and you'll find out August 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern. I will select one lucky winner to receive the new phone holder from Yak Attack, courtesy of Wade and our awesome friends over at Yak Attack. So, hey, from myself, I'm Adam Pross, your host of the River Run, and I thank you for stopping on by the River Run podcast.